the young and the restless spoilers. Genoa City has always been a place of intrigue, betrayal, and family drama, but nothing has been as shocking as what happened one fateful evening when Kyle Abbott found himself at death's door. A seemingly ordinary dinner with Claire and Harrison took a dark and frightening turn, leading to a terrifying medical emergency that no one could have predicted. What began as a quiet evening at home quickly spiraled into chaos, as Kyle collapsed in pain, clutching his stomach and screaming in agony. The scene was frantic. Claire, frantic and terrified, immediately dialed 911, praying for help to arrive in time. But Kyle, his face twisted with pain, could only manage to say that he felt like he could die at any moment. "Wait. Just wait," he whispered in between gasps for air, his body trembling. The question on everyone's mind was, why was Kyle the only one affected? Claire and Harrison, who had eaten the same meal, showed no symptoms whatsoever. What could possibly explain this bizarre and terrifying scenario? Was there poison in the food? Or was it something even darker? And most importantly, who would want to hurt Kyle? A gruesome scheme, Jordan's deadly message. As the paramedics rushed Kyle to the hospital, Claire's mind raced with the awful possibility that this wasn't a random incident. This wasn't an accident, it was a deliberate attack. And the mastermind behind this frightening episode wasn't just anyone, it was someone Claire knew all too well, Jordan. Jordan, the calculating and ruthless woman who had always seemed to lurk in the shadows of Claire's life, had been pulling the strings all along. But this attack wasn't just about hurting Kyle, it was a twisted lesson, a warning meant specifically for Claire. Jordan wanted to teach Claire a lesson in loyalty, one that Claire would never forget. Jordan's plan was clear: if Claire didn't return to her side, if she didn't choose to embrace her family and loyalty to them above all else, then the people Claire loved most would be in danger. This was Jordan's way of threatening Claire with the ultimate consequence, death. It was a cruel, psychological game, using Kyle's life as the pawn. And in the blink of an eye, everything Claire held dear was at risk. A narrow escape, Kyle's battle for survival. After what felt like an eternity of waiting, Kyle was rushed to the hospital, the medical team working desperately to stabilize him. Miraculously, he survived the attack. The poison, though potent, wasn't enough to take his life that night. Kyle's body, though weakened and drained, had fought against the toxins long enough for the medical team to administer the necessary treatments in time. But even as the doctors confirmed that Kyle would recover, they warned Claire that not everyone would be so lucky next time. Kyle's survival wasn't guaranteed, and his near-death experience was a stark reminder of how fragile life could be. But as he lay in the hospital bed, his eyes locking with Claire's, he could barely bring himself to speak. "Claire, who did this?" he asked, his voice faint but filled with urgency. Who would do something so twisted? The silent fear, Claire's guilt and secrets. For a moment, Claire's heart sank. She knew exactly who was behind this: of Jordan, the woman who had always tried to control Claire's every move, pulling her into a world of darkness and fear. But even as the truth burned in her chest, Claire couldn't bring herself to say it out loud. There were too many consequences, too many people she feared would turn their backs on her if they knew the truth. Claire hesitated, her thoughts swirling. Jordan was not just a threat to Kyle, she was a threat to Claire's entire existence. The idea that Claire could ever break free from Jordan's grasp seemed almost impossible. No one could know the truth, that Claire, despite everything, was still in contact with her. If anyone knew that Claire had been involved with Jordan, that she hadn't fully cut ties, the repercussions would be devastating. Claire feared the judgment and rejection that would follow. She feared what would happen if the people who loved her found out that she had allowed herself to be controlled by someone like Jordan. Kyle, though weakened, saw the hesitation in Claire's eyes. He could sense her fear, but he also knew that time was running out. He needed answers. He needed Claire to speak the truth. "Claire, please, tell me. Who did this?" But Claire could only look at him, her lips sealed tight, her heart torn between the truth and the consequences of revealing it. The silence between them spoke volumes. A tightrope walk, Claire's dilemma. As Kyle recovered, Claire was faced with a devastating dilemma: could she continue living under Jordan's shadow, Or would she find the courage to expose the truth, even if it meant losing everything she had? The stakes were high.